shape, the shape we're in, though, right? Feels like walking in the O-line room.
Got Justin's chair open for him.
It didn't mean to go O-line room because of the size of some of the guys in this room.
I'll take that.
Working on it.
Obviously, on to the next. I think that's probably the biggest thing, but we did what we were expected to do. I think that's what I told the guys after the game. This is, what I thought they should have done and how they should have played. And I mean that from the opening kickoff. I felt like we could have had one of those games if we actually came out and played. Now, you never know. I mean, every team has ability, every team has talent. What we needed to do, I think, in this last stretch run is make sure we're playing to our level of expectation as opposed to sometimes playing to the level of our opponents. And not to take anything away from our opponents, but sometimes I think we can fall into some of those ruts, whether we have this misconception of who we are and how good we are. The reality is that you've got to expect somebody's best shot every single time, and as long as you prepare that way and you go out and play, hopefully you can have a game like we did this past week. And it was great in many ways. Obviously, it was great us first and foremost to have a lot of opportunities for guys to play that deserve a chance to play. For all the hard work that they do, we just have not been in a whole lot of situations this year, other than maybe one time on the road at Marshall, where we felt like there were some opportunities for some young guys, maybe in some of those 4 games that they get as freshmen, to get out there and play, in a situation where, against somebody else, and we put a little bit of heat, a little bit of pressure on them to see how they'll perform. And so it was really a great opportunity for a lot of guys to get some of their first action, and even some guys some more action maybe than they had seen all year. Ben Bryant being one of those guys. So it was a great opportunity for us. First and foremost, because we came out to play. We handled ourselves from the get-go, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And then the other thing I think more than anything is anybody that went in the game had a level of expectation, and how they prepared and what they were supposed to do when they went out there. And sometimes that's where you can get frustrated, is to see somebody go out there and maybe don't take the game as seriously as it really is based on what the score is. And to say everybody that went out there on the field, when you press play, you can evaluate to say, hey, they believe in what it is we do, play hard, go hard, no matter what the situation. So it was good to see. The other thing probably is it was our first game with less than 4 penalties since the time we'd come here. So I think the Navy game last year was the fewest we'd had until now. So we played a lot cleaner. We played with controlled emotions. I know the game sometimes can do that based on the way it's going, but still, first and foremost, hopefully we're learning from some of the things we've done early in the year.
Probably would have liked to get Ben maybe some more throws, but the situation didn't. But what did he show you in the what he did get?
No, I hope that people notice. It's not really that it's for people to notice, but I know after the game, I had somebody say to me, "Well, I didn't know your quarterback, the backup guy could throw it like that. And he looked really good." And unfortunately, you're right. It is a situation where you don't want to, put him out there and have him just slinging the football around when you're up, 35, 40 points. But you also got a balance there where, we got to get some work. And this guy doesn't get as many opportunities as he does. But I think first and foremost, he went out there with a level of expectation. It's not just, hey, we're up, let's just go sling this thing around, throw the ball into coverage. No, it was, as you evaluated, whatever the call was, he was in the right place, whether it was where he was looking, what he was supposed to do, whether he was supposed to hand it, whether he was supposed to pull it. And I think those are the things you really start to evaluate to say, okay, if put in the situation, will he go out there and just be a gunslinger, or will he go out there and do the things that he's expected to do? And I think he has proven that in the little opportunities he's had. But we've got a lot of confidence in what he's done.
The throws he had to Wiley and Jackson, is that just what you guys see every day in practice from his arm?
We do see it a lot, and we got a lot of faith in what he can do. And I think as you run down the stretch, you don't know how things are going to happen. We've been saying it all year, and I don't want to knock on wood. At some point in time, Ben, there's going to be a situation where we're going to really, really, really need you. You always got to prepare. You don't know when that is. We've been saying that every time the field goal team goes out there on a Thursday or a Friday. This is going to win us a game. I don't know when, but at some point in time, every single point is going to be critical. And it just happened to be last week. And at some point in time, we said it last year with Hayden, and he ended up having to be in the bowl game. But that's the expectation we have for guys to prepare. So when their opportunities do come, whether it's, because the game's in hand or, somebody, gets hurt or something, they're prepared and they're ready to roll.
You guys have had 6 different starting offensive line combinations so far. Given that attrition, I mean, are you satisfied with what that group's been able to do?
They've done a good job. I mean, they really have. And I don't just mean, good as, no, they've found a way to gel together. I think they've taken some pride in the fact that they, have not had one group. Taken some pride in a guy like Chris Ferguson, moving from left tackle to right tackle, now back inside the guard. So I think they've taken some pride in the fact that, hey, whatever we have to do, we're willing to do together. And it's been difficult. I think that's been hard sometimes on the offense. It's kind of the same situation with, with even Dez getting comfortable with receivers. We've moved some guys around, trying to get Jay Sean to some positions where, maybe we can get him some more opportunities for balls and maybe some, some open space as far as coverage-wise. And when you do those things, they're all great ideas on paper, but sometimes the chemistry and the things that you develop with a quarterback being in a specific position, it's so unique. Down the stretch, you might not see it as much. And I think that's why, Josiah's had the success he's had. I think Pierce still is the guy that, has a bit of a connection with Dez just because they've been in those same positions for most of the year.
Do you think you can get Morgan back this week?
Don't know. Today, I don't know that we'll have him on a Tuesday, but if there's anybody that's going to be able to do something, it's going to be Morgan James. I mean, it's a 29-year-old grown man that takes care of his business and everything he can do, and is a very strong-willed, minded guy that will put himself in a position. We'll just have to see. We can't put him out there where he put himself in harm's way because he's got a future.
What do you see from South Florida that is going to be challenging or going to push you on Saturday?
This is just one of those games that I really believe this is a very talented football team. I know the record might not indicate it, but they sometimes play to the level of their opponent as well. But at home at night, I mean, we were there 2 years ago and it wasn't close. And I don't think they've dropped off. Obviously, we've gotten better. They haven't dropped off talent-wise. I think that they're a challenge for us. I think matchup-wise, where their strengths are as opposed to our strengths. So I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be really big on up front, both O-line and D-line, is how the line of scrimmage goes and who can control the line of scrimmage and who can, maybe not dominate the line of scrimmage because both sides have some pretty good players. The energy and momentum of a football game is going to be one up front.
How do you guys handle going from cold weather here in Cincinnati to what should be 75 and sunny down in Tampa? How do you guys handle that?
We haven't had to worry about it this year. We'll be in the bubble, so we won't have to go outside and practice. It's still about preparation. I don't know, are we worried about the heat? I mean, at 75 shouldn't be a big deal, but we'll be prepared as far as guys hydrated and things like that. The great thing for us is now that we don't have to worry about our preparations of not be able to focus and lock in if the weather turns bad, whether it's raining or anything like that, because we can go inside now. And that's a big bonus, a big benefit to us in our preparation.
I know you don't like to talk about rankings too much, but you guys are a top 20 team, your only losses in the top team in the country. Do you feel like over the last 2 years, and especially this season, you've proven that this program is a winner again, and you guys are finally getting the respect you deserve?
Respect is earned, whether it's a ranking or not. I don't know, but I think that we can look at ourselves and say, yeah, we believe we've gotten a lot better. We believe that in any situation, we talk about that 90%. Yeah, there's a top 5%, but not many of the 90% can really hold their own or even beat a top 5% team. But I don't know if we can do that obviously at the beginning of the year because we didn't. But I think as we continue to grow and what we've done and create consistency is what gives us the opportunity, to be at that top of that 90%, which, I think we're climbing to. And that means that at any point in time, if you do play one of those 5%ers, that, you build up the belief and the trust in the guys around you that it's not just about talent. So I believe we are in a really good place. I believe that we're building the right way, meaning it's not like, hey, if one guy goes down, we've had 6 different combinations up front offensive line. You could complain we lost our best player at the start of the season. we've had some really key, unique guys that, have caused us some headaches, but what we've done is we've created and developed some depth in what we do. And I think when you really go back and start to evaluate a program, a team, and a season, you really try to see, okay, now when things happen, because there aren't many years you're going to have like last year where you have the same offensive line for the entire season other than one injury. Other than that, Perry Young went out in week 6 or 7 against Navy. Other than that, we didn't have a whole lot of injuries. And maybe you have a year or two like that over a long period of time, but that's probably not the norm. It's when you have some adversity and all of a sudden you see that there's not nearly as much of a drop-off, and you see that there's development throughout the entire units and program. And then you start to say, okay, we've got what we want to be able to do now. Obviously, we've got to finish, we've got to continue to grow, but I believe we're building it the right way.
Winning energy obviously is contagious. Do you feel like the guys in that locker room can feel how close they are to those goals of a conference title and the English 6 Bowl? Do you feel like they feel how close they are?
I'd be lying if I said I don't think they understand that. They do. But I don't know. I mean, we aren't built like that's the only thing that's going to determine, a successful season. Because that's always a tricky thing to do at the beginning of the year. I've been in those situations. I've been in a place where, hey, expectation is national championship or nothing. And you got to have some really, really strong leadership if all of a sudden something goes awry. So you're always about building. So, but we're not also going to not address the elephant in the room and say, okay, we're in a situation. Why it's important is for you to understand how people are going to play you. Yes, you've earned some respect, and with that respect comes an incredible responsibility to go out each and every week and understand that you're going to get people's best shots, which I can't say maybe we did last year. I don't know if even South Florida came in here, even though we had a good record at the time, if they really thought this team's just been lucky. Do I really respect them? I know it's going to be cold weather, but we're so much better than these guys. Where I think at least this year they said, okay, these guys got us last year. They're where they are right now. We better have our A game. So I hope our guys truly understand that as well.
With the end of the season coming up, how much do you think about, particularly on defense, if like Javon or Derek first team all conference? Do you think about that a whole lot?
I think Cos will come up to me and say, hey, can I say, I'm not talking about that stuff till the end of the year. Hey, I might start somebody on time.
Do the players think about it?
Of course. We hate to say that there aren't individual things that they see and think about, but we continue to preach it's not about the individual things. I promise you we'll have more guys that are on the all-conference team if you win the conference. You'll have very few guys on the all-conference team if you only have 2 or 3 wins in your conference. You could say what you want, well, that's biased. Yeah, you're right, but when teams are winning, that means their guys are probably playing a little bit better, and regardless of sometimes statistics and things. So, during a season, try to really say, I don't really care about any individualistic goals, any individualistic stats. At the end of the year, it's, when we got to try to sit back and try to evaluate, even before the season, set yourself with some individual goals. Yeah, that's a motivation thing. It's a time when, okay, let's think about this selfishly about what I want, and then when we start that season, how do we separate that and not worry about those things?
Back on the offensive line, is there a takeaway from maybe training camp? Because you guys tried a lot of different things with that first group. A lot of different guys got reps, and maybe you would have rather a 5 emerge and be firmed up. But where you are now, you've got a lot of guys that got a lot of reps back in August.
I guess that's what you look at to say, okay, probably did help us. Because last year, my thing going into camp was to Coach Croak and Coach Denbrock and those guys said, the first week, I want to know what our combination is going to be. And we need to get them into place so we can get them to trust each other, start working together. After the first week, I don't want guys moving around. If that means we believe that Garrett's going to be the center, then get Garrett at center. If we believe that Jakari would have to be the center as a freshman, then put him there and let's work around it. This year we didn't say that. This year we said, hey, we got to find our top 7 or 8 guys, and sometimes that means moving guys around. So I guess hindsight, looking back at it, was probably really a good thing that we moved some guys around and had some different combinations, because it's probably benefited us right now.
With Ritter's running totals from the last 2 games, how much do you think that makes opposing defenses have to respect him as the ability to run the football in addition to Warren and Dokes?
Obviously, they see stats and they watch the games and know that he's a threat. So I think that, I think people got to play you a little bit different when they recognize that and realize that. Maybe at the beginning of the year, he wasn't. And he didn't. But, I still think people are going to play the way we're going to play it. We got an opportunity to go in and we could see 3 different quarterbacks. Last year against South Florida, we saw 3 different quarterbacks. I don't think we'll see 3 different quarterbacks. All of them are, a little bit unique and different in their own ways. And not that we're going to do something completely different based on who's in there, but there's got to be an awareness based on what the strengths are of a quarterback or an offense.
You guys got Mick Oaks in the game on Saturday. I think he had an ACL surgery. So I mean, it feels like
Last practice in the spring.
Yeah, so that's a really quick recovery time. I mean, you've been around this game a long time, and to see where ACL injuries are at now.
No, I'm the one that said, are you sure we want him in there? I was even been saying that in practice, just for the sheer fact that we don't have to rush. But when guys are healed, guys are healed. You can say it's modern medicine, and most of the doctors will tell you that they're just that much better at what they do. I would look you in the face and say, I don't know. They are good. Those doctors are really good, and those trainers are really good. But the strength of somebody's mind, genetically how they're built as well, but the strength of somebody's mind, how they attack things like that and rehab and the positive mindset they have, is still a really powerful tool in guys that have an opportunity to get back faster than others. And Mick is one of those. Happy for him. I'm worried to put him out there just because the history and everything. Well, before 10 months, it's really difficult, but it's great to see.
As Wiggins pointed out, that Oaks has returned so fast.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll be rushing on Wiggins or Chuck, but 2 guys that, genetically will heal pretty quick, unlike maybe me that has to rely on that mind a hell of a lot more than the genetic makeup of yourself maybe. But nonetheless, if they were ready, it wouldn't be a surprise to see that either.
You mentioned having to earn respect, and you do that by winning. Do you feel like it's at a place like this that it isn't a Power 5 school, but maybe in the beginning of the season flies a little bit under the radar, that you have to fight even harder to earn that respect on a national stage?
I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't worry about it. I probably only worry about it in recruiting because people use it against us, and for whatever reason. But if you're worried about earning respect, sometimes you lose sight of the things that you're doing. Respect will be given and granted. I think if we continue, it's not just a flash in the pan. I think that's the thing that has always happened with the conference. Is there's so much turnover that people have a good season, 2 seasons, there's turnover there, so they just assume, they're going to take a dip, and maybe they lose the respect. But when you build something the right way, and you can weather, whether it's injuries or even a few ups and downs in a season or even a season, I think the respect over time throughout the country is something that our program needs, but also I think our conference will gain a lot more based on if we can continue to keep some consistency within